Alright, so I want to make a quick update and a follow-up video to the previous video I posted for the Ego 650CFM blower. This is their newest blower that's currently on the market, and I just wanted to give some brief opinions and some updates on some of the features that I either like or dislike. So I just wanted to start this off by basically saying, for the most part, I am a Milwaukee fan, I guess fanboy, whatever you want to call it. I own a lot of Milwaukee drills, their bits and various other smaller tools, and most of all of my power tools are Milwaukee. And I know Milwaukee has a blower that I can use with my current battery system with them, but given all of the news and the press about the Ego blowers, I kind of wanted to try it out and kind of see what it was like. So I ended up picking this up from Home Depot. It was, I want to say, roughly $2.99 for this one. They might be on sale now, but that's the price I paid about a month ago for it, and I've been using it and kind of testing it ever since, and just want to see how well it does. The main purpose for me actually buying this was to really dry my car. I wanted a really good, powerful blower to really dry my car, and secondary for me at least, do some yard work with it. That wasn't my primary goal, and for the most part this is kind of geared towards the DIYer, the person that is doing yard work and stuff like that, not necessarily towards car drying. That's kind of a secondary for most people, but for me it's flipped the other way. But given my background with Milwaukee tools, and I love the fit and finish of Milwaukee tools, and everything just works. They innovate fairly well with their tools. They're always coming out with some kind of new technology and new ways to implement various tool designs and stuff like that. So looking at Ego, they seem to be kind of in the same boat for me with their designs, with their battery technology specifically. So I wanted to give them a try. So this particular blower, like I said again, this is the Ego 650, and let's take a look at some of the features on it that kind of stand out the most to me. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the battery. This battery, as you can see, it is fairly large, but it is large for a reason. Given the power output of this blower and the amount of air it pushes, you need a strong and large battery to support that. This particular battery, we're going to go ahead and take it off real quick, and you just press down this insert here until it clicks, and then the battery will slide out. So, this battery is fairly large, as you can see, given the size of my hand to this, how big it is. One of the cool features is I do really like that it is actually wrapped in this rubberized material, which is easy to grip. It does have some passive cooling inside of here as well, and it has a battery indicator right on the outside of the unit, which is great. That way when you're using it, you know where your battery level is. And it's really easy to attach to the machine. It just slides right on these grooves here. It clicks right in. So it's very easy to use in that aspect. And from what I've seen, all of their tools are like that. So it's really easy to use with that. The batteries are very sturdy. They have some weight to them. So it's not, you're not getting a battery that's really lightweight and cheap. And they carry that same rubberized theme to various parts of the machine here, like with the grip. The grip has that rubberized texture, so it's easy to grip. Now this platform here, this is a very hard like plastic, but it's not a very cheap hard plastic. And you can tell that by by touching it and using it. It's not cheap by any means. And it goes for the rest of the body. The rest of it is plastic to keep the weight down. This cone, this snorkel here is plastic as well. So overall, to me, the fit and finish is actually really good. All right, so just a quick side note on the Ego batteries and the charger. So this is something I found out after I purchased the blower, and really is how expensive the batteries can be in relation to the cost of the unit. So if you look here, if we're looking at the cost of this unit here on Home Depot's website, you're looking at $299 for the unit. Now, if you want to purchase an additional 5 amp hour battery, you're looking at $249 for just the battery. Now, if you want to go up to the 7.5 amp hour, that one's $349. But for the sake of this, let's just look at the 5 amp hour. Now, if you want to add an additional battery plus a charger at $79.99 and the battery, if you look at that in relation to the cost of a brand new unit that comes with a battery and a charger, it's just much cheaper just to buy the additional unit and have an additional unit on hand than purchasing these by themselves. This is at this current time right now, and it is April of 2020. So, this may change. They may adjust the pricing of the batteries to fit more in line with, a more realistic cost of an additional battery. Because right now, you'd be better off just buying a new unit. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to buy an additional battery by itself. I mean, you're looking at $328 for the battery with an additional charger versus $299 for an entirely new unit that comes with a charger and a battery. So just wanted to throw that out there just in case you're looking at that and wondering, okay, maybe I should get an extra battery for this unit. The cost is kind of high right now. Hopefully it comes down. But at this present time, you'd be better off buying an additional unit and using the additional battery and charger that comes with it. Added benefit, you have another unit. You can dedicate the units for a specific task, which is great. And at this time, I don't see a need to go to the fast charger that they have because this charger does just fine, the standard charger. It charges the battery, really quick. I could have the battery on the charger and be doing something else, and I'd get a full charge within 45 minutes, I believe. I have to check that and make sure I'm right, but it's a really quick charge, even with a standard charger. So just wanted to add that in just in case you're looking at the cost of the batteries and stuff online. So let's move from the battery. We'll move up the handle here, and we have we have actually 2 triggers and 1 dial here. And what you'll notice is this trigger at the top is your turbo button. So you use this in conjunction with the trigger on the handle or the dial here for cruise control. And I'm going to demonstrate kind of what it does. And you're going to hear a pitch change with how this sounds when turbo is activated. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the trigger button here. Now turbo. I have this sitting up here just so I have something to sit it on. You can feel the force, the amount of thrust this thing is actually producing, which is pretty cool. Now this dial here is actually cruise control. So as you can see, as I'm turning this dial, it actually ramps up in RPM. That blower speeds up, and you can actually just leave this on, and basically when you leave this on, it's doing the same thing as this. So it's helping you alleviate some trigger finger fatigue, and you can leave this on and still use the turbo button with this activated, which is a really cool feature. Some machines have just a button that you press for cruise control, or a cruise control style option, but it doesn't give you levels of adjustment. So that's a really cool feature with that. This actually has a hook here. Ego sells a strap that you can get that takes some of the weight off of your arms with this machine, and you can hook that in right here. Another thing you'll see is, going forward, you'll see this honeycomb structure here. This is actually where it's pulling in air. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, if you're in a high dust environment or something like that, it kind of will suck in some of that because it is pulling air from the surrounding area of this. So if you were to, let's say, use this for yard clippings and you are in that high, density dust environment, and then the next day you want to go, dry your car off, I would actually blow this out first with some compressed air to get the rest of that debris out. That way you're not flinging out, extra debris, dirt, sand, or whatever onto your car during the drying process. So that's one thing to keep in mind with this. As we move forward, you have a fairly long snorkel here with a front cone there, which is very easy to detach. So you push this in here, and then you just pull out, and that comes off. Now, all you have to do is just slide it back on, and it will click back in place. Now, the one thing that I would like to see going forward is possibly a shorter one of these. And mainly because I like to use it to dry the car, and this thing being kind of long, you may have the tendency to hit your car because you're not really aware of how long it is when you go to dry it. So that's one thing I would watch out for. Other than that, it actually works, very well. I'm not sure. I imagine there's probably going to be some flow differences between the shorter snorkel and this one, but there may be a way to, taper that down and get some really good velocity going with a shorter one. So that's one thing I would like to see. Outside of that, this base here is really nice. It sits flat on a table or on the ground, and it has a hook here. So if you have any hooks in your garage and you hang your power tools, this is great because they can hang just like this. You could take the battery off and then stick the battery on the charger and have this hanging up. I've seen online where people have 3, 4, or 5 of these, and they're just hanging up, along the wall. And they just go, let's pick this one today. That's a really cool feature to have. It makes it easier to kind of store and kind of get out of the way. Better for garage organization. But outside of that, that's really it. It actually works very well. When you're holding it, it can be a little back heavy here just because of the weight of the battery. So if you tend to hold it like this, it's a little more weight. Now if you hold it a little more towards the center, it's a little easier, but you do run into the issue of having your finger right next to the trigger here and on the turbo button. So just be aware of kind of where your hand placement is. But again, like I said, this thing is actually really good. It's worked very well. I've used it to dry my car. I've used it for various tasks in the yard, blowing leaves and debris. As you can see back there, I was doing some tree trimming and have somebody coming to pick that up. So it helped out with that. All in all, I think this was a great purchase, and I'm actually planning on buying one of their chainsaws. They make I want to say a 14, a 16, and an 18-inch chainsaw that uses their battery technology. They have blowers, obviously. They have lawnmowers. They have trimmers, edgers, battery packs, and a few other power tools. And I imagine they're going to add some more as they go as well. But I think this is a pretty good company, and their battery technology and the way that they design their products kind of speaks for itself. And the hype that you see around the internet with it is justified. Their products are really good. You do pay a little bit of a premium for it, but it is a premium product. This is not Harbor Freight level quality plastic here. This is, you know, $200-300, you know, quality product here. So hope that helped with your you know, ongoing decision making. And you know, if you have any questions or comments, please leave those below, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll catch you in the next video.